Mr. Mourinho raising his voice, not for the first time. We'll also round up the rest of tonight's action, including normal service resumed for Ronaldinho and Barcelona. Now, in the last couple of days, we've had the Old Trafford fans getting on Fergie's back and Arsene Wenger, of all people, sticking up for his mate. What an odd job football management must be. Speaking of which, welcome to the Charlton manager, Alan Kirbishley. We begin in Amsterdam this evening. Group B looked good for Arsenal after match day 1. Their win over FC Thun and Ajax's draw in Prague left the Gunners top. Tonight, Sparta were in Switzerland while Arsenal were in Holland. Commentary from David Pleat and Peter Drury.
Whatever the... Danny Blind, who has the early problems. A 19-year-old from Belgium. I think this is a European debut for Milan. And then himself got a rather fortunate deflection. Sheer persistence that gave the Spaniard even a sniff of a chance. Crack in the final quarter, but Arsenal held on. They are 6 points out of 6 and 2-1 winners in the Amsterdam Arena tonight.
Well, Arsene Wenger, despite all the worries that people had about the young team that you put out and the big names that were missing, that was a very, very efficient performance, wasn't it?
Well, yes, we were quickly in front, you know, and after that it was down to organisation, hard work, and using a second chance on the break against an Ajax team who was a little bit dominant possession-wise, but not very creative, because we had a very good defensive performance.
Yeah, it's a big performance because we had a few players out, and you know, the senior players had to kind of make it count, and you know, there was more responsibility. But you know, we've done the job well, and we played some good football and got 2 goals. So it was a good performance.
Got off to a cracking start as well, didn't you? I bet that was in the game plan, wasn't it, Freddie? Score within 80 seconds or whatever it was.
You know, it's not a bad start, and of course it's a bit easier to play than, you know, away from home, and we controlled the game a little bit. Maybe they let them have the ball a little bit, and felt quite good.
Was that a penalty? Were you happy with that decision?
No, I just saw it on television. From the bench, I had my doubts, but I couldn't see it very good. But I saw it on television, and it's not a penalty. He passed the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper, his hands is like this, and his leg, he let his leg go through his body. So it's 100% no penalty.
Happy with the result, and a good result to take forward.
Yes, because we are putting a run together. And quality is down to consistency, and when you look backwards now, we have a few games where we can say we are consistent again.
Now, Robbie Earle has been good enough to stay behind and join us from the Amsterdam Arena. Robbie, first of all, from the men that Arsene Wenger has at his disposal this evening, that's a terrific win, is it not?
Yeah, it's a fantastic win because it was a mixture of some good experienced players, but some young men who'd not really played at this stage, at this level, and to get the result and to get the big 3 points, I think was commendable, and it will also go a long way in bedding these players in and making them believe that they can be, you know, truly great Arsenal players.
Alan Kirbishley was watching here with me, Alan.
Well, that first goal must have been really important. I mean, the atmosphere there would have been, you know, the Ajax fans would have been up for that, but it probably knocked the stuffing out of them.
Yeah, we had 80 seconds, Alan, of unbelievable noise and colour, and then all of a sudden Freddie Lambert goes through it and took his time, dinked the ball in, and the place went deadly quiet. And it's a compliment to Arsenal. But one thing that probably, as a manager, Curbs, you'd have been impressed with was the spirit in this Arsenal team. There was a real kind of, you know, everybody was up for it, everybody was encouraging, and nobody was shrugging or upset with one another. And there was a real nice team feel about things.
Well, although they had a few players missing, both sides, but the Arsenal, I think, had their back 4 out, didn't they? And once they got that early lead, I think the back 4 looked after the rest of the team.
Yeah, it did, you're right. The back 4 was the base, and make no mistake, there was a couple of huge tackles in there by Sol Campbell, one in the first half, one particularly in the second, just before Reyes went up the other end and won the penalty. I thought were key moments in the game.
Yeah.
And I would have thought, given that Arsenal have been accused of a lack of self-belief in Europe in recent seasons for not going on and doing better, the mention that you made of team spirit and so on, the belief that was clearly there through to 90 minutes is an important factor that Arsene Wenger will look at.
Yeah, belief with, as I say, a group of young players, because at 2-1, it just started to get a little bit lively, and you just thought maybe it could go the other way, but they hung in there, they did what was required, and they got the 3 points. And people keep telling me this is a team in transition. The manager won't have it, and I'm not so sure. I think this is a team that just lost their way a little bit, but they're not far off being a very good side again.
Indeed, well, they've certainly made a good start to their group. Thank you very much, Rob, and safe trip home.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing Robbie at Everton on Thursday. Back to Amsterdam. You said, as we watched, the early goal will make this a different game, and you feel it did.
Well, everyone's game plan just went out the window.
Yeah.
And it was perfectly set up for Arsenal then, because they are a counter-attacking side. I think Arsenal said that there, and you know, that once they got that early, set their stall at Arsenal. They obviously got the lead, but at half-time they probably said, look, Ajax ain't going to score. You know, let's be as aggressive as we can as a back four, and we'll hit these on the break.
And it's interesting, from having just nicked a winner really against FC Thun and having big names missing tonight, they've taken 6 points out of 6. Yeah. They're well set in this group.
I think Arsenal said it earlier in the interview. You know, consistency brings the quality. You know, they've had a decent run in this competition. They now need to get going in the Premiership.
Save those big names for the knockout stages, perhaps. Thank you for the moment, Alan. As we said, good, increasingly good for Arsenal. 6 points from 6. They play Sparta Prague at Highbury next. Thun, second in Group B with 3 points from 2 games played, and a point apiece for Ajax and Sparta.
It's 3 months now since Patrick Vieira swapped North London for Northern Italy. The true story of why he left Highbury is yet to be told. All we do know, he's left behind what you might call Arsenal's work in progress for the Italian job.
When you spend 9 successful years, it's always been difficult to leave the club, but that's the way it is, and you just have to make a decision and stick to it. You miss, of course, the atmosphere at the stadium, all your friends you leave at the back, and you miss a little bit something, yeah.
Are goals harder to come by in Italian football? People say it's quite defensive.
Yeah, but I think the football changed as well in the last few years. Is more goals. People try to win the games, to score more goals, and I think people are quite enjoyed at the moment.
And you've got, I think, 3 goals already.
Yeah, I think few people will be surprised about that, but yeah, 3 goals in 5 games is quite good.
The Premiership has been criticised in recent weeks. People say it's boring. Chelsea are going to win everything. It's not as attractive as it used to be. What do you say?
10, 15 years ago, it was the same against Man United. And after it was the fight between Man United and Arsenal. And now Chelsea, of course, are a really strong team, but it's still a really long way to go. And I believe that Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool can do better than what they're doing now.
Vieira's switch to Juve prompts an obvious question. Which is the bigger club? The grand old lady of Italian football, or the one inhabited by the dashing young gunners from Highbury?
The history in the last 15, 20 years is completely different. Arsenal progress year after year, try to achieve what Juventus achieved in the last few years. But what is really exciting and really good for Arsenal is that they are in the right way, because the new stadiums come in and some young fantastic players are at the club, and hopefully they will achieve what Juventus have achieved in the past.
On this programme last week, we had a look at the new stadium, the Emirates Stadium. Do you regret that perhaps you'll never play there? And certainly not for Arsenal.
No, regret no, because that is a life things that you may not program just happening, and you just have to make a decision. Of course, it would be a fantastic stadium. I will not play there, but you never know. Am I going to go to watch some games?
Just finally, you were there for 8, 9 years. The fans loved you. Do you have a message for them, perhaps, now that you've left?
I spent 9 successful years there. The fan has been fantastic with me, even when I went to a difficult period with all standing off. And they always stick behind me, give me 100 support every single game, and I will never forget that.
The thoughts there of Patrick Vieira. By the way, we've had an email here from Jane of Enfield. She likes to say good luck to Arsenal ladies who are playing Frankfurt in the quarter-final of the UEFA Cup, and that takes place at Barnet's Underhill next Saturday. Also kicks off at 1 o'clock. Well, just returning to the Vieira issue.
I've got one for you on Vieira.
Go on.
How about this? Well, you know, supposedly Manchester United tried to nick him when he was at Arsenal. Now he's gone to Juventus, right? Yeah. Maybe they could pinch him from Juventus. Be a bit more acceptable if Roy Keane's going to go.
That'll give some people to talk about.
Throw that one past you.
Yeah. Allegedly nicked by Manchester
United.
United.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah.